Hey, welcome back to Jaws on Sports. We got a special guest tonight here joining Mike and Zach. We got Hayden. How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, where you coming from?
Coming out of Norman, Oklahoma.
Norman, Oklahoma. Hey, go figure. Show those colors, man. Show them.
Yeah, here we go.
That's right. Yeah,
Feeling
yeah.
electric around here this week.
Oh, you know it. Oh my gosh, I wish I was there. I can't tell you how much I wish I was there. Zach has got some problems tonight. He's got an ancient Oklahoma Sooners helmet along with Adrian Peterson's Minnesota Viking jersey. It's pretty sweet, man. Um,
Yeah, man,
Zach,
all day.
yeah. So Hayden's coming. He's coming from Norman, back at OU. I'm coming from the hotbed of Columbus, Ohio, where the Buckeyes are going to go 0-12 this year. And then, of course, Zach is now down in Athens going to the other OU. I'll let him talk about that. But anyway,
Ooh.
after way the hell too long, it is time for some freaking football. We are back. We are excited. And tonight we're going to talk about some week one games. And Zach, why don't you take it from there, man?
All right, man. One moment. All right. So I think it all starts Thursday. Utah and Florida was a classic game last year, but it's a good game. It shows you where those two teams are at. But it's in Utah. It's at night. I think Utah runs over the SEC in that one.
Yeah, Utah. I'm a big fan of them because they beat the crap out of USC twice last year. And
Yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of Utah fans around Oklahoma all of a sudden.
oh heck yeah, and
Heck
I
yeah.
mean the three of us are big Utah fans, at least well, as long as they're in the same conference. I guess that's not going to be too much longer. But
Yeah.
Stinking Lincoln.
yeah, stinking Lincoln. Utah is one of those teams. Every year they're solid, and sometimes they're really freaking good out there. Florida is a kind of like those guys down south, the Texas Longhorns. They don't have any excuse. They got an incredible recruiting base down there, but they've had nothing but problems ever since Tim Tebow left.
Yeah, not if you watch the documentary though. I don't know if you guys have already talked about that, but it's all sunshine and rainbows on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched one episode. Going to have to check out some more of that. This with the Urban Meyer years.
Mhm.
Yeah,
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 they made
there's a
him
little
look
bit
like
that's glossed over,
an
just a
angel.
little bit probably, but
yeah.
They missed so much stuff with that.
Oh,
And they made Urban look like a angel with wings.
well, look, the people around here in Columbus still, well, I don't know if they still think or not, but for a long time they thought that Urban was an angel with wings. Okay.
Definitely not.
Uh, geez, I can't believe we already spent way too much time talking about Urban Meyer. We got to move on. But
I agree.
I just with that one. I mean, I, it's in Utah. Gotta love the Utes out there. Game one. I think they're going to win by, I don't know. I'm going to give them 10 points.
What do you think, Wolf?
yeah, I'm looking at that. I couldn't find the spread, but I think that's at least 10 for sure.
Yeah, 6.5 on ESPN.com here.
I
Oh
think
But
yeah,
17. I think they roll them.
yeah, I'd take them to cover that all day.
yeah, Florida's probably got a couple of first round draft picks out there playing, but who cares? Screw them. So,
I agree.
all right. So,
Um,
what's your next one, Zach?
I'm glossing over bums. I want to talk about Coach Prime, TCU in Colorado, hyping up this Bush League coach, and they were playing against the local YMCA teams at Jackson State.
Hey, just real
And
quick, if anybody out there is a Coach Prime fan or whatever, and you got an inside number with his, give him a call, tell him to like and subscribe Jaws of Sports. Call in next time. We'll be happy to have him on.
but I agree. But I mean, this is a different animal, man. This isn't the SWAC anymore. This is the team that just went to the national championship. And I think a spread of 20.5 is too low. I think TCU is going to win this game by 42 points. Dominant. And Coach Prime is going to get exposed. They're saying, oh, Colorado to the playoff. Oh. No, it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't really know what the end game is with this. I mean, yeah, he brought a lot of guys down there into Jackson State, but that's a different. Much respect to the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but D1, TCU, they got some serious dudes out there. They lost a lot, but they're still TCU. They got incredible coaching. They always do year after year. Successful program, recruiting base down there in Dallas. The other thing, hey, look, did we ever think we would be sitting here thinking that the first Big 12 team to win a college football playoff game would be freaking TCU?
Yeah.
No. No, but they did. And then they got the crap kicked down by Georgia. So, I mean, don't you think that they'd have a massive chip on their shoulder going into this game?
No doubt. I think they're getting them by 4 touchdowns at least. I don't know if I'm as high on the Frogs as Zach is, but I do think that the culture in Colorado is going to be kind of just shown to be broken there in that first week already. So I don't know.
I like that answer a lot. That's a big. It's not about the guys you have. It's not about the guys that you have. It's about the program you're building, and it seems to be all about Dion. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's all about Dion, and I think the over under on him coaching Colorado. I'm going to say, geez, I'll put the over under for 3 years, thinking it's going to be 2.
Mm-hmm.
Under on that.
It's fair. Yeah,
he's not going to last. All
right.
Next one. This one might not be as competitive, but I just think it's a fun matchup. West Virginia, Penn State in Happy Valley. I think that game could be kind of a bit of a brawl. I think they could beat each other up and be a fun night game for us to watch.
Yeah, it's well known. My grandfather, he was a huge Penn State fan, and I grew up, cheering for those guys. And that team is as close to a team that I enjoy that plays in the Big Ten. Otherwise, I can't stand any of the Big Ten teams. But this is one of those things where you've got a lot of hype with Penn State this year, and you got West Virginia is really bad. But I think this could kind of sneak up on Penn State. I don't think they're going to win, but 20 points. If I was betting this game, which I'm totally not going to, I could see a much closer, like a 42 to 31 type thing. Lots of points out there, maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I couldn't have said it better.
That's great insight, man. Great.
Hey, we're all flowing right now, right?
We are flowing.
I like it.
Yeah, it's going downhill fast.
Hey, we got the Battle of the Carolinas with Drake May and Albino Rattler on Saturday night.
Spencer Rattler, Drake May. Wow.
Which is going to be the battle of the most overrated quarterbacks in college football, I think.
I tell you, Drake May, he is getting an awful lot of pro love out there. Unless he has a major injury or just totally sucks this year, he's probably going to be a top 5 pick in the draft next year. That does not matter Saturday night.
Ooh.
There should be a lot of points.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen too much of Rattler to believe in him any much, so I don't want to speak on this game too much. But yeah,
dude, he had like 17 touchdowns and 12 picks last year, and between 2 games, he had like 12 of those touchdowns. So
he killed it against who was that, Clemson? Which didn't make any sense.
Clemson and Tennessee, but he rolls into Kentucky and will lose 45-21. So, I'm taking the Tar Heels in that one.
Yeah, I can't bet against the Tar Heels in this game.
No, I think Beamer will get them rolling eventually, but yeah, not in this one.
Yeah.
No Beamer ball on Saturday.
No.
Okay, that's fair. I like
I
it.
hate to bring up the horns. I'm seeing here that the line on that game is 35.5. I don't think I'm not as high as a lot of people on them as this year. I think that the Bama game is definitely a drop, and knowing Texas, I think that they've got one more in there. At least I'm not all in on the undefeated or 11-1 season, but man, this first one, I don't even think I can take them to cover 35.5. That's just nuts.
Well, I tell you,
Before we talk about anyone else, talk about Texas.
Okay, Texas, yeah. I tell you something, they're
Yeah.
playing Rice this weekend. I had some rice for dinner tonight. Okay. And let me tell you guys, if this was a baseball game, I think Rice would be pretty darn competitive. Might even be the favorite. Um, it's no secret that nobody on this call likes the Texas Longhorns. And how many times have we heard Texas is back? You know, this is the year. Um, they got an awful lot to prove. They want to go out there and make a statement. Game one, there is not one dude on the squad of Rice who the Longhorns recruited, and Texas's second team would probably beat Rice by 25 points. I think that this might be one of those games where the coach Sarkisian calls the dogs off, and they end up having the cheerleaders out there in the second half. Maybe Rice scores a couple touchdowns, the backdoor cover type of a thing. But we'd be silly if we think they're not looking ahead to Alabama.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
I think Texas does this every year, and I'll see you two gentlemen this time next year when they're saying Texas to the playoff, and the year after that, and the year after that, and it's going to be the same thing. They're going to go 7-5, 8-4, lose games they shouldn't, and we'll be back here every year. Endless cycle, man. Endless.
Yeah. The most interesting thing for me with them this year is how soon are the kids going to start calling for Manning? Is it going to be week 2 with Bama, or is it going to be a little later when they're a little dipping close to, I don't know, right? Maybe they can get over the edge, but we're not all the way back.
Hey guys, let's go back in time just a couple years. You know, I mean, Zach and I, we were at the Nebraska game, and the Oklahoma-Nebraska game where Spencer Rattler didn't have a great game. They still won. That was the game where DJ Graham had that insane interception. Okay. What was it? Mid-second quarter, the crowd was going, "We want
Already.
Caleb, clap, 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 clap," like that. So, you know, make no mistake about it, the Texas Longhorns aren't going to give Quinn Evers much of a leash, regardless of how good he does this year. He throws an interception or gets sacked in the first quarter, we're going to hear Arch Manning or some kind of chant.
Well, my thing is, if they get rolled by Bama, Texas is going to win 6 games because if they put Arch in, because Arch this time last year was playing against me on the defense. All right, the guys he was playing, I don't know if you ever seen his highlights, but they're almost more of low lights for the other players.
Yeah, I actually thought I was on the field against him, and I'm 53 years old, so
Texas is not back. Nick Saban's going to do unspeakable things on national television week 2. I guess
that's fair. So,
so.
What else have we got here? We do have probably the game of the weekend is definitely LSU and Florida State in a matchup of top 10 teams that have a lot of hype.
No, you're wrong. LSU is going to roll these bums, dude. Florida State was the most overrated team, more than Colorado State.
Who? Colorado State? What?
Not that good. Or Colorado, sorry. Colorado.
Oh, okay. I got you. That's what I thought.
Jordan Travis is overrated. Florida State is going to get smashed, I think, really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State finished unranked last year. Is that I don't know. I think or whenever we played them in that bowl game, is that I don't think they were even ranked. And so to jump up to 8, I feel like I don't know what talent they have returning, but I just don't see them putting enough together to beat LSU week 1.
Yeah, Zach and I were
Well,
talking about this. You know, like that game, the Oklahoma Florida State game in the bowl. The Sooners had the ball with 2 minutes left as a chance to tie or win, and they kind of took a dump on that drive. But it just seems like Florida State's got 2 big time. Well, hold on, big hype players, a quarterback and a defensive end. I can't think of the defensive end. I think he's really good. And they got that 6'20" wide receiver who had like 300 yards against the Sooners. Sooners couldn't do anything against him. But if the Oklahoma had won that game, I just, for sake of argument, I wonder if the hype rules had been reversed, because Florida State wins and there's all this talk about like the Jameis Winston days are back at Florida State, and they're going to be competing for a national championship again and winning 30 straight games and all this stuff. But I am on the record as saying this looks like one of those LSU seasons where they're really freaking good. I don't know about Burrow, Jefferson good, but they're really freaking good. Watch out for them.
I think that they suck. LSU's fine, but Florida State sucks.
Well, I was talking about LSU.
LSU's gonna lose to Bama. That's
just for the sport. I'd love to see another team ever as good as that Jefferson, Chase, Burrow team. I don't think it's this one.
No, I don't think so. But they should be up there this year. The very top of the SEC is awfully freaking strong with Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. But in this particular game, I think we could see some points, 30s. I think it'd be a little closer than we think. Maybe Florida State gets a field goal or safety or something in the end. And it's only a 2.5 spread, which doesn't seem like it's enough. I think this game's at a neutral site. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know where it's at.
I know that
they're not in the Camping World Stadium. Okay.
Jordan Travis is going to get smacked by some guy named Marcavius or something and realize this is an ACC ball no more. And LSU wins by 21.
No, that could happen, man. Who's their quarterback? Jaden Daniels. He is set up to have one heck of a season. We always know that LSU has a ton of talent down there.
Right.
All right. Yeah, that's premier SEC team. I don't think that's going to be an issue with them.
Yeah.
All those teams don't matter. The real team that matters is why we gathered here today. And we'll be speaking about one of the greatest, most amazing, undeniable, undefeated teams to ever play college football. Oklahoma Sooners.
Never lost, ever.
Never even thought of losing. They had 6 wins last year and 7 chances to learn. They played really well. No flaws. It's a bunch of studs on this team.
Yeah, I don't know. Going into this year, I know kind of the theme for last year was change. Everything's new. It's program reset. The culture's reset. And I think what's awesome this year is not that it's change, but it's the consistency. Or you're hearing that, all right, the guys we got returning, they're still bought in. I know I talked about this story with Zach before, but there's the story about Danny Stutzman lining up in practice and he's a foot over, and Venables is like, hey, we got to get 1 foot over. And he's like, Coach, I don't understand why it matters. But it seems like they've got all these issues out of the way. The guys are bought in. They know where they're supposed to be, what they're going to be doing. Everybody's clicking. So I don't know. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again on the Sooners. I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean, look, when Brent Venables took over, he's got this incredible pedigree of defense at Clemson, 2 national championships there. He had a great run as defensive coordinator under Big Bob Stoops at OU. He brings all the credentials. And I mean, he's brought in some dudes too. And you never know how freshmen are going to do, honestly, but it hasn't. Last year's record has not affected the recruiting, and they signed some big time 5-star the other day for next year. The Sooners on offense, okay, I mean, bringing a 5th-year quarterback and Dylan Gabriel back, who's got tons of yards, tons of touchdowns over the course of multiple seasons and 2 teams. And if he can stay healthy out there, they've got guys. Farouk is back. Of course, we've got the legend Drake Stoops out there.
Stoops.
That's right, man. Got some studs coming in on the wide receiver. Austin Stogner is back.
Turning. It's exciting.
Yeah. After what seems like he left 5 years ago, but it's a couple of years back.
Yeah, no. Thankfully, he did not bring Rattler back with him.
Nothing wrong with that. But and then the other thing, Oklahoma has quite a few running backs that play on Sundays in the NFL, and their running back room is absolutely loaded this year. So we know that they have a solid offensive line. I think where I'm trying to go with this was that we're not worried about Oklahoma on offense. And when you've got that and you have Brent Venables as your head coach, you'd like to think that the defense would play just a little bit better this year.
Well, dude, we dunked on DG way too much last year. He played really well. It was more of play calling that made him look bad. And the offense that averages over 30 points a game, you should be able to win every game. You should. The defense gave up like 29.6 points per game or something crazy like that. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, a lot of room for growth, not only just being average on defense, but at the bottom of every single statistic like that, points per game, yards per game. I think it is awesome that the depth, which was just such a huge issue, I feel like you'd see those guys just getting gassed by the end of the games. We jump out quick on OSU and teams like that, but hang around in the 3rd and 4th, they can't keep it going. But I think with those huge difference makers like Bowen just jumping in immediately, even if he's not going to be entirely experienced, just having another body out there is kind of be the biggest thing for them going forward, I think.
Yeah, that dude. He's a guy that Oklahoma hasn't been able to get. That kind of recruit out there in the defensive backfield. I don't think he's a Sauce Gardner or anything. There's only one of him, but Sooners start getting these big time defensive backs that always ended up at Alabama, Penn State, the Georgia, or LSU. That's what they need this year and going forward, going toward the SEC in order to compete with those guys. You hit a great point there, Hayden, about the depth and what's the standard we're talking about here with the Sooners? I mean, it's Zach mentioned it up front. They won 6 games last year, but they had 7 learning experiences. That's right out of the great Chell P. Sonnen, undefeated, all-time 8-division UFC champ. That's right out of his playbook. Represent Chell. And hey, Chell, what's up? If you're on, I'll send you some roosters. But stand by a second here. But one thing that Alabama and Georgia have done better than anybody else is that they've got depth everywhere. And some guy gets hurt, they bring another big time player in who's ready to go. we saw what happened with OU last year when Dylan Gabriel got hurt. They didn't even bring backup in. They put Brain Willis in there in the Wildcat, and that was cool for one play.
Yeah,
had
OU
flashbacks.
needs. That was terrible, but
Yeah.
we don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
That's the game.
The
game you didn't go to. Yeah, down there in Austin.
Yep.
Or Dallas, yeah.
So OU, it's simple. They just need to develop a defensive line that can get a pass rush and a secondary that can hold for 2 seconds. And it's just fundamental things. It's tackling. It's not lapsing on your role for a play. You know, what coverage you're in, what gap to fill. It's simple stuff that separates OU here and Clemson defense up here. You know, it's that much that means, you know, winning those 1-score games and OU being 11-2 last year, besides 6-7.
Yeah. I just think we're going to see improvements across the board. Like you said, the little things, and not just, I mean, depth wise and talent wise, but I mean, yeah, everywhere. I mean, with Trace Ford coming in from across the state, somebody we've watched give our guys a problem. I mean, I just think there's too many difference makers in spots where we had just a lot of room for, where we needed the difference makers there. So I think it's going to be, good improvements there.
Now, if we look at the game on Saturday, they're playing that juggernaut from Arkansas State. 35-point. I mean, if I was in Las Vegas and I just somebody gave me $5 or something, I might put that on the Sooners. But I don't like to look at 35-point spreads because you just don't know. I mean, to get out to 35-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, what do you do? Do you keep your foot on the gas against Arkansas State?
Double ball. Put Bevel in. Let him cook.
Oh, my God. Hey, that guy must have one hell of a good locker room presence. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. You know who must have I mean, are we ever going to see General step on the field? That must be a great locker room guy to survive that last year and never see the field. I mean, he's got to have something there that we don't know about.
He's got a great name, General Booty. That's right, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Got the NIL deals, dude. That's what he has.
Yeah, hey, whatever it takes. I mean, he's not going to make it to the pros. So, have that name, have NIL deals, be a cool dude at school. You're good to go.
All right. Well, what I'm thinking for this year is Dime Time's going to play really well. But I think we're going to get back to bully ball running football. I think that's how they're going to win this year. Because I think they didn't even run half as much as they should have last year. And they were 10th in the country in rush yards per game.
And we were talking about that with Eric Gray. He didn't get near the touches that he needed last year.
Yeah. So I think they're going to have bullies on the offensive line, and they're going to be able to wear down teams over 2-3 quarters and finish them off. That's what I think. It's just about getting off the field. With that. Yeah. So defense gets stops and gets off the field. Offense, run it at them. 8 plays a drive. Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing about this, just being Oklahoma and Texas is last season, the Big 12, the Sooners' schedule sets up great for them. I mean, they got Arkansas State, SMU, Tulsa, Cincinnati, and Iowa State before they play Texas. They're going to be favored by double digits in all those games. And we know Iowa State's given the Sooners fits in the past, but they're kind of in a rebuild process down there, and that game is in Norman. Sets up great for Oklahoma to have a few weeks to work out the kinks. Just I think it's safe to say we're all more excited this year. Last year, there were a ton of question marks going in. There's a lot of positives that have come out of camp this year. And if that, that defense, it's almost unrealistic in college football to say, well, you got to stop them, 3 and out, 3 and out. But, force field goals, force long third downs that you make the offense get off the field. And man, there's no excuse to give up 30 points a game. So drop that by a touchdown, and we got a team that's freaking 10-2, like nothing. And after that, anything can happen.
Sir, and as much as the new look Big 12 has been applauded for rebounding and saving themselves from extinction, this schedule is very, very possible with that. I mean, very, very beatable teams that we've got out there. So I think that's what we're going to need for this season to be considered a success for BV, I think.
Yeah, it's simple, man. Run the ball, get off the field. I mean, these games are favorable, man. Like, I don't think they got Texas this year. I don't think so. But besides that, man, they have favorable matchups. I mean, they got TCU at home. They don't have K-State or Baylor. That's our kryptonite, man. We don't have them.
Yeah.
Or they don't have them. I don't play for the team. But BYU on the road is kind of weird. Could be a weird game. Cincinnati and UCF, but I'm thinking the same, man. I think 10-2, 11-2 finish, beat up some bum in the playoffs, the NY6 bowl game or something.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left in our show tonight, guys. Just obviously, we're going to talk weekly about the Sooners, and we'll reconvene next week after they beat Arkansas State by, I don't know, 350 points or some kind of PlayStation-esque score. Just in our last minute here, got any final thoughts? Let's take it around the country here. What do you got, Hayden?
Yeah. First, thank you guys for having me. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller, so I appreciate you for letting me on the show. It's been a good time. I'm ready for football to be back, I think, is my main takeaway from this week, just itching for it to be back.
Long-time listener, man. Check that out, folks. Like and subscribe, Jaws on Sports. It's very important. Zach, down in the hotbed of Athens, Ohio.
Hayden's a great guy. Love having him on here. He'll probably end up back here eventually.
You're more welcome anytime, man.
He knows ball. He does. A lot of people don't, so I appreciate having someone that understands. But I think Gabriel's going to ball out this year. I think the defense will be slightly better. I think instead of 110, it'll be 87, which that might be enough for them to win 10 games. And I think they're going to run the ball. I think Gavin Sawchuk is the impact player we have this year. Sorry, I got to stop doing that. Sawchuk and Barnes, 1-2 punch, and Danny Stutzman sucks. Boomer Sooner.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, for Hayden and for Zach, I'm Mike, and this has been a great episode of Jaws on Sports. We're all excited about college football. Boomer freaking Sooner. Like and subscribe. We will see you folks next time. Have a good night. We're out.
See you.
I'll call you in a minute.